Hey guys, and welcome once again to KingNightspore for my very first product review. It's going to be the Sony A5100 camera. Why? Why am I reviewing this camera? Well, it was time to upgrade my Twitch and YouTube presence and streaming. I started off with a Logitech C series webcam, which is a great camera, does 1080p, but it's not real dynamic and it doesn't have a lot of settings in there that I really wanted to start tweaking. So I started looking around to see what I could find that was reasonable in price range. If you're like me, you were concerned with not spending a bajillion dollars on your first intro kind of pro camera. That led me to this Sony A5100. It's a great price. I think right now on Amazon it's like $448. Yeah, it's like $448 right now. I'll do a link below. The reason why I settled on it, there's a couple of really great reasons. It's got a good price. It has some good features that are actually removed in later versions of the A series camera that make this an even better choice. And it's a good transitional camera. It's got you can swap out your lenses. It's mirrorless, so it's got a low profile. It's got a lot of really great things. We're gonna go through a couple of those things right now. So the flip up on the back of the camera is super awesome. So you can there's a little viewfinder on the back that you can flip up so that you can see yourself while you're doing your vlog or your recording. And anybody out there that's ever done any of that knows how important it is to see yourself with your doing your recording. The other features that make it really cool and a really good early stage streamer device is that it's really user friendly. It does have a lot of settings, and you can find the super technical reviews of this camera because it's a little bit of an older camera here on YouTube as well. I'll see if I can find a link to some of those. I'm not going to really go into that right now because it's a bunch of camera lingo stuff that you don't really need to know about. All you need to know is that this one is priced well, it's easy to use, it has the flip-up screen in the back. The flip-up screen in the back is actually removed in the newer versions of this camera. I don't know why. I don't know why they removed it. Instead, now you have this little accordion thing on the back of the camera that, like, for the viewfinder, and like it's completely useless. I have no idea why they did that, why they nerfed their own camera that way. I mean, like, whatever. So you get a better camera if you buy the slightly older version of this camera. Now this will do a 1080 out for you through the little HDMI. To turn this into a webcam is super easy. So you just plug it into a camera capture card or device. I use the Elgato 4K little cam card. I know this only does 1080, but I plan on upgrading to 4K down the road when my budget allows me to. So I got this card so I can do that then. So to make this into a webcam, you just plug it in to the little camera card capture. I'll do the link below. You plug that into the USB port on your computer and boom, you have a really dope webcam that you can adjust your manual focus. You can do a couple different settings on there to make yourself look good, make yourself pop a little bit more, you know. Gives you a little more versatility there, which is awesome for this type of camera. Oh, okay, so you're gonna find out a couple things about this camera when you do your research. They're gonna be like, wait, King, why am I getting this camera? It's got this issue, this issue, this issue. All right, the first thing you're gonna see or hear about is the overheating issue. So the overheating issue is very common to the A series Sony cameras. The A series gets hot when you record on the camera. When you use the actual recording equipment and built into the camera, it gets super hot, super fast, and your camera will overheat in about 30 minutes. The way around this is pretty simple, actually. Since we're using this as a webcam, we don't really record on the camera. We're passing the whole thing through our Elgato 4K camera card, and we're recording on our computer. So the recording hardware on the camera never turns on and it doesn't get super hot. By doing this, recording off the camera, you can record indefinitely. I've had this thing on for 8 hours straight. No problems whatsoever. The other issue, so that gets rid of the heating problem. The other issue is the battery life. So the battery on this bad boy, when you're recording, seems to go about an hour and a half or so. Anywhere, it kind of ranges. It ranges a whole lot depending on your settings and what where you're doing with it. But you can keep it going for about an hour and a half. That's after you let it cool down in between intermittently if you're out and about. So that is a bit of a problem, especially if you're vlogging. So what you do to get around that is you get a dummy battery, and I'll do a link below for you. But a dummy battery just plugs into replaces your regular battery, plugs into the little slot there, and then just plugs into a regular outlet so that you get unlimited power. It tricks the camera into thinking that it has an infinite battery. So that gets rid of your battery, that gets rid of your heat issue using this as a webcam. Oh, the last thing. Okay. So that brings us to the microphone, or the lack thereof. So there is a microphone on this camera. It is embedded behind the button in the back, the display button in the very back. And so technically it does work. Like it technically works, but it's terrible. It is so bad. The audio you get from it is so bad. So you're gonna need a real mic. So if you're recording out and about, again, you're more than likely using this as just your lens going to your laptop. Then your mic is going to be either you can do a pin mic on your chest, or another mic going to your recording software on your device. There is no mic plug on this bad boy. But again, if you're using this for what I'm using it for, which is my Twitch streaming and reviewing, get yourself an intro mic. There again, you can spend as much as you want on microphones, but the Yeti Blue here is priced to go. It works perfectly, and it gets you a pretty good sound right out of the box. It's got some cool little features on it. I'm going to do a full review on each of these items later. Right now, I'm just kind of giving you what you need to get that Sony up and running. So to summarize, you get your A5100 because it's a good deal, it's a good price, and it's got some good features. It has an interchangeable lens, so you can upgrade your lens later if you decide that's something that you want to do. The lens that comes with it is fine. It works just fine. It's what we're using right now. The overheating problem, you just flip up the display on the back, the LCD display in the back, and you don't engage the recording hardware on the device. You record on your computer. No overheating. Battery life. You get a dummy battery. You get the dummy battery and you plug that in. This thing will go forever. So those are the big issues that you can overcome relatively inexpensively and pretty quick. That is my review for the A5100. It is a fantastic intro pro web camera. When you want to take your stream up that little notch, this is a great camera for that. You can buy a newer one, but you're gonna miss out on some of the features of this older one. So I highly recommend it. There will be links to all the items that I mentioned before: the dummy battery, the cam card, the camera itself, and OBS software, all in the links below. If you enjoyed this review, I really appreciate it. Please hit follow and or subscribe. We're going to be doing equipment reviews for everything as I go down my journey as becoming a new streamer. Everything that I learn, I want to pass on to you guys before, because I know I was a little irked when I got this camera and I found out a couple of these things. I was like, fudge. I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Yeah, I wish somebody had told me up front. I still love the camera, but it did take me some time to figure it out. If you have any suggestions about other intro cameras that are a little bit above, like the Logitech C-Series webcams, please leave your comments below. I would love to hear them. I'd love to have a conversation about that, to learn more what's worked for you guys in your early transitional streaming. That would be fantastic, and I really appreciate that. And as always, thank you again for tuning in. Please hit subscribe and follow. You can find me on Twitch under KingNightspore. You can find me under Insta under KingNightspore, and you can find me on Facebook under KingNightspore. Again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot, guys.